So what's up, y'all? It's Josh Preston back with episode 2 of the podcast, Preston's podcast. It's about a little bit before 6 on March 1st. We're going into the championship games of the girls. I've been here the last since Tuesday. Been kind of a long week. End up sleeping in my car for a night. That's a whole different story with hotels and getting organized and this and that. So not really going. I'm just gonna skip all that for right now because I'm going to Easton and Benton. That's the Class 4A championship at 8. And like I said, it's a little bit before 6, so kind of want to try and knock this out. Probably like a half hour or so. But last time I got kind of long-winded, so I'm gonna try to avoid that this time and just gonna kind of jump right into it. Like I said, we got championship games going on right now. It's at the Rapides Parish Coliseum out here in Alexandria. And I'll just kind of give y'all some of the scores from earlier for games that already got played. But in Division 5, it's Claiborne Christian beat Family Christian 37-36. Those were the 1 and 2 seeds. Them, I didn't really get to see them. They most of these lower class teams they played on Monday. And like I said, I got here Tuesday. First game I saw was Ursuline and Lee Magnet. I caught the second half of that. But Division 4, Lafayette Christian beat Vermilion Catholic 48-33. Lafayette was the 1, Vermilion was the 3. And I'm pretty sure that's 3 straight titles for Lafayette Christian. So shout out to them. Division 2, and I'm going in the order that the games were played today, and or really the whole order of the championships. So Division 2 was Lee Magnet and St. Louis. Those were the 1 and 2 seeds. Looked like it was a pretty good game. Lee Magnet won 64-60. Like I said, they were the first team I saw when they played Ursuline, and I got that box score right here from that game. Yeah, Diamond Hunter, she was a baller for sure. She had 27 and 9, and they had a couple good girls. They had a pretty well-rounded team. They had a big girl in the middle that ate up a lot of boards. So it was pretty good. Anaya Lagarde too. She had a really good game. She had 20 and 10 and 6 steals. So shout out to Lee. Like I said, they're your champ in Division 2. Let's see. Oh, and for Ursuline though, Ursuline, that was one of our. I think we had 10 teams from the metro area that made it up here. Um, Kirsten Nelson had a real big game, 23 and 16. She's a class of 2020, kind of a forward. But she's really kind of improved the game. She's got a little bit she'll handle the ball a little bit now, and kind of push it up the floor. So I've always been one that just kind of that plays super hard. So I like her. Kennedy Jackson, hilarious kid. She just played her last game. She had 13 and 10. She fouled out pretty early in the fourth quarter. And Tyria Williams, who's a class of 2021 point guard, she had 15 and 15, 4 assists and 5 rebounds. So not a bad game for her too. Kennedy Jackson, like I said, that's her last game. She's going to Oklahoma State though, so y'all will be able to kind of keep up with her and follow her there. And that'll kind of do it for Division 2. Class C, not real familiar with these teams, but let me see, maybe if I can update it. Yeah, they haven't put the scoring for this one yet. It started at 4, and they're probably running a little bit behind, so it's probably not over yet. But Plainview is playing Reeves. Plainview's the 1 seed. Reeves is the 6, and that's in Class C. Class 1A, we got Delhi as the 4 seed, and Elton is the 3. Elton beat Kip Booker T. Washington in the semis. That was a close game. It was kind of tough seeing Kip drop that one. Again, that's another one of our local teams. They lost 38-34, and they are a super young team. They don't even have any seniors on the team. They just down the stretch they probably had 3-4 tough turnovers. That one of them they were down 34-31, I think, and just kind of tried to make a tough pass that probably shouldn't make in that situation. Got to be a little more solid, but and they missed probably. I think they missed 3 of their last 4 free throws too, and that just kind of sealed the deal for him. Vicky Woods for Elton. She's a class of 2021. She had a outstanding game. 17 points, 19 rebounds, and I think she did something really similar in the game before. I think she had 19 points and 17 rebounds in the quarterfinals. So probably one you might want to look out for. She, like I said, she's class of 2021. I think she was about 5'9", 5'10", something like that. she had she scored the last 4 points for Elton, including like an and one that put him up 4 with I think maybe 14, 15 seconds left, something like that. So she really kind of carried them to the win in that one. As far as Booker T went, Imani Rothschild has been looking really, really good. She's a freshman, so that's class of 2022. Coaches definitely want to keep an eye out for her. She had 11, 2 assists and 4 rebounds, but she's really showing that she's got the potential to be one of the best freshmen, really in the state. So really liked what I saw from her in that game. She did miss some pretty key free throws, like I said, late. She was the one that was getting to the line most of the time, so I think she was 1 for 4, something like that. Like I said, in those last couple minutes, but like I said, she's a freshman, a real young team, and I expect Booker T to be back next year for sure. Cassie Dolio had 9 points and 13 rebounds. She's class of 2020. And Renee, it was a tough game for Renee. She only had 2. And I know she's real disappointed, with probably the way she played. But she did have 5 steals. And that was a game high for anybody in that game. So like I said, that's class 1A. And I think that championship game is going on right now. So Class 4A, which is the one I will be at later on today. That is number 1 Benton and number 2 Warren Easton. Benton and Ellender, that was a great semifinal game. I only caught the end of it. I was watching, or I was writing the story. I can't remember which story I was writing at this point, but I got there with like maybe a couple minutes left or something like that in the fourth quarter, or maybe I just got there for the last minute or so. But it was crazy in there. Benton got they made a shot late, and or did they get fouled? I think they got fouled. I think it was actually kind of like a loose ball foul, like in the backcourt, one that you usually don't really see called there, but it was probably a foul. But at any rate, Ben went up, made the 2 free throws, and Justasia Hester, I want to say, is the one that got the shot off at Ellender. And she got a decent look. It was probably somewhere around the free throw line. She kind of had to shoot a float, and she just missed it. But that was a really good game from the looks of it, from what I caught. And Easton and Menden, Easton really handled that one from start to finish. They've been playing great as of late. The quarterfinals, they ended up going to overtime with Neville, who they've seen I think the last 2 years prior to this one. So one of them they Neville beat them, and then I think they won the other one. But like I said, they were up pretty. They were up I think 10 at halftime. Cabria Lewis had a really good game, especially in that first half. She had 6 straight points in the first quarter, and 2 of those came off of steals, or two of the buckets came off of steals, so 4 points. And she really, just kind of led the way for them in that one. Let me see. I got the box score here for that one too. Yeah, she finished with 12, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. And Casey Harris had a pretty good game too. She had 16 and 6 rebounds. She was 8 for 9 from the free throw line. So that's what she got a good bit of her points like right at the end when Menden was trying to foul and trying to get back into it. They cut it to maybe like 12 or 13 pretty late, but Easton was pretty much in control. They went up by 20, I want to say, at some point in the third quarter. So, and one of the best notes from that game was Kiana Anderson was able to come back. It was actually her first game of the season, and she played let me see. I think it was 16 minutes, 15 minutes, and she got a bucket in the fourth quarter. That was her first points. But she led the game in rebounds with 8, and she looked pretty good. Still probably a little bit ginger. She wore a brace for a torn ACL, and which she tore during the summer playing with EP Elite. So it was really good to see her back on the court. She's a Arkansas Little Rock signee. So going on to Division 3, we got a number 1 St. Thomas Aquinas and number 2 North Lake Christian. They play Saturday. This is the first of the Saturday games. They play at 10 a.m. I'll be covering this one too because those are pretty much two local teams. Once we get to this point, we kind of include them. Um, St. Thomas Aquinas rolled rolled against Country Day. It was 70-39. Country Day was a 5 seed, and Country Day is really they're a pretty young team too. Most of what they do is pretty much built around Casey Chaz. She's a class of 2020 guard. She had 31 of the 39 points, and she had an assist, so she accounted for 33. And she had 10 rebounds. Took her a lot of shots, but again, she's really the only, really scoring threat that they have. So she was 10 for 34, but and she's taking had to take some pretty tough shots because St. Thomas Aquinas knows that. They were hounding her, doubling her, and she was still able to get up a good amount of shots. And most of them were, decent looks, considering the type of pressure that she was going up against. So she's a really good player. St. Thomas Aquinas has a couple kids that I love. I mean, really, really love. Jalen James, class of 2021. She's a baller. She's going to be mid-major at least, maybe high major. Great speed in the end. She's probably about 5'8", 5'9". She gets the ball and she's gone. I mean, she's got euros. She's got side steps. She can shoot a little bit. She can pass. Like, her entire stat line is pretty ridiculous. She had 26 points on 11 of 18 shooting, 1 for 2 from 3, 3 for 5 from the free throw line, 8 rebounds, 6 steals, and 2 blocks and 3 assists. I can't remember if I said that, but she's top notch. Jade Brumfield is kind of a running mate. She was 6 for 13 from the field. She had 15 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. So their team is really mostly built around those two. But the other girls look pretty good. Lily Maggio, she hit a few shots. She looked like she got a pretty decent jump on her. And Sadie McGowan was down there kind of battling in the post. So I kind of like them. I would certainly pick them over North Lake Christian in this championship game. North Lake Christian, speaking of them, they beat St. Catherine Drexel, who was the 3 seed, 59-49. I like St. Catherine a lot. This was actually my first time seeing them, and they got a real young team too. I think they graduated 1 senior, so and she was more of a role player. I think she came off the bench, so they'll have a lot of girls coming back. And Maya Johnson really impressed me. She had 16. You can look for a highlight tape from her too in the next couple weeks or so, because I'll also be at the boys championships next week, so gonna have a lot going on. But yeah, I liked her a lot, and they got a couple other players that they were talented for sure. And North Lake Christian, Kyron Whittington, another big time prospect. She's gonna be at least low major, maybe mid major. She put up 27 points, 10 to 18 shooting, 7 to 10 from the free throw line, and 9 rebounds and 5 steals. She really kind of led the way for them. Natalie Newberry, she had a really good game too. She did, I think 4 charges is what I had it with. She might have 5, but it really kind of helped slow the pace down because St. Catherine, they get up and down and they run. So, and like I said, that's Division 2 or Division 3, and they will play at Saturday. They'll play Saturday at 10. So going on to Division 1, which is honestly the division that's most affected by the split. There are only 8 teams in this division, and the semifinal games were a little rough. They were rough. The first one of the morning was Mount Carmel and Dominican. Again, 2 of our local teams. They played 3 times already this season, or well, 3 times now. They played 2 times in the regular season. They're both in the Catholic League, and the score at the end of the first quarter was 4-2, and the score at halftime was 8-4, in favor of Mount Carmel, and it was rough. A lot of turnovers. Just they're shooting in a bigger arena. The depth perception is different. So I mean, that probably had a little bit to do with it. And it was the first game of the day at 11:30. So you know, people not really used to playing that early. Teams not used to playing it. So I think that factored into it a little bit. Plus they played each other a lot and they kind of know. But you know, like I said, the division's tough with only 8 teams or so. And my Jordan Berry, she really came alive. Dominican in that third quarter, stuff started to pick up at least a little bit. They hit two threes like right off the bat in the first minute, and they kind of got going a little bit, but then they just kind of really stalled like into the third quarter and into the fourth. And Jordan Berry just started going crazy. She hit for Mount Carmel. She's a senior. She hit two threes in the fourth quarter, and then she went 8 for 8 from the free throw line and pretty much put the game away. So so we'll have Mount Carmel and Curtis in the championship game, and this one is at noon. Now Curtis just, I mean, when I say they rolled even harder than St. Thomas Aquinas. I mean, this one was 61-18 was the final, and after the first quarter, it was 30-1. Um, and at halftime, no, I'm sorry. After the first quarter, it was 21-1, and at halftime, it was 30-1. So yes, I'm sure you guys can add. That means St. Joseph's had 0 points in the second quarter. So that's the mismatch that happens in Division One. Curtis has just been rolling through this division for the last 2-3 years. Really not much competition. Well, when McKinley was around, they had some competition, but even then they won those games by, I want to say, double digits. Um, Jacayla Jordan, again, the real deal. Her St. Joseph's coach was really complimentary of her, and she put up, and she didn't even have a great game, was the funny part. But she had 16 and 10, and she was 8 for 20 from the field. So, and she missed the first three shots. One of them was a layup. I was like, whoa. So this is foreign. So she could have easily been, 11, 12 for 20 and put up close to 30. But she had a good game as usual, and so did Bria Irons. She actually led the team in scoring. She had 17 and 10, and she is just a workaholic on the court. Like, she's battling for every single rebound. She has 7 offensive rebounds, and that's not out of the ordinary for her. She's probably like a D2 type kid. I think some smaller colleges should definitely give her a look. Great kid, sets the tone on defense. She'll get down in the stand. She wants to guard you. So I would suggest some coaches take a look at her. Salma Bates, this was her third game back. She's a Tulane signee, and she was a little rusty. She was 0 for 7, but she got some pretty good shots up, and she led the team or led the game in assists with 4. So I wouldn't, nothing to really worry about. I don't think they're gonna have too much trouble with Mount Carmel. They beat them the second time, I think, 48-34, somewhere around there. Now Mount Carmel did beat them 45-44. I want to say that was like early January, but that was one of the first games they played without Salma. So I think they were just a little, not really in rhythm and understanding how they needed to play. Plus, they got a lot of younger girls behind Jacayla, Bria, and Salma. So, but let's see. I'll kind of move on. Class B. Don't know much about these teams. Again, this is a Saturday game. This is the 2 o'clock game on Saturday. No idea how to say Anacoco. I don't know. They're the 2 seed. They'll play Hicks, who's the 5 seed. In Class 2A, it's number 2 North Cato and number 4 Mansfield. They play at 4 on Saturday. Excuse me. I didn't the Rayville and Mansfield game. I didn't really see much of that one. Again, I was writing for some other story at that point, so I didn't really get to see that one. But Red River in North Cato, I did catch the what did I catch? The fourth quarter or the second half? I've seen so many games they all run together on me. But the ending of this game was great. I think I caught the whole fourth quarter, but and you know what? I'm lying. I caught some of the first. I missed the third quarter. That's what happened. Um, again, Destiny Rice. Again, like I mentioned in the last one, she's Alabama signee. I love watching her. Pretty much any chance I get to watch, I'll probably stick around and see what she's doing. She had 20 points. She was 8 for 15 from the field, 4 for 4 at the free throw line, 8 rebounds and 2 assists with a steal. So she had a really good game. She led the game in scoring. And this one came down to really the last possible second. It was a really high level game. Red River has a D1 commit, a UL commit, and Micaiah Hallman. She had 11 points, and I think she did most of her damage early because I want to say I saw at least maybe 8 or 9 of her points, or 7 or 8, maybe something like that, in the first half. So I stuck around for the first and second quarter, and then I had to go finish writing. So that's why I ended up missing most of the third. But she was really impressive. Morgan Payne, who I think I'm not sure if she's a sophomore or junior because they had her listed in the book as a junior, but one of the other writers that covered said she was a sophomore, and I think I heard the coach at one point say during the press conference that she was a sophomore, or she said that she would be a junior next year, so that would make her a sophomore. But at any rate, she started off really well. It looks like she finished with 8 points and was 2 for 8 from the field. She guarded Destiny a lot. She's got a pretty good size on her. It's probably a couple inches shorter than Destiny, but you can see she can compete physically with her, and gave her a little bit of trouble every now and then. Michaela Lewis, she was 5 for 5, had 13 points. I think that might have been the big girl. Yeah, that was the big girl. Yeah, I liked her too. But like I said, this game actually ended up coming down to the last seconds, and Red River got a bucket. Was it? I think it might have been Morgan. I think she made 1 or 2 free throws to give them the lead, but don't quote me on that. I had to go back and check. But anyway, they were up one, and North Cato had the ball with I want to say like 6 or 7 seconds left. They had it around half court, and like most people, I'm expecting it to go to Destiny. I'm sure they would have got it to if they could, but they almost, they definitely double teamed, almost triple teamed her, and it just kind of opened up the floor. They pass it up ahead. They get a wide open layup from Deanna Stewart, who made it, and that was her only bucket of the game. She was 1 for 1, so made the one that counted though. So that like I said, they beat North Cato 48-47, and the girl I mentioned earlier, Micaiah Hallman, she was tore up. I mean, she was hurting. You could see that one meant a lot to her. Really good show of sportsmanship to North Cato. A couple players went over there, picked up off the court, and she could not pull herself together. She was balling from the end of the buzzer to when she got to the media room in the press conference, and she was crying pretty much through the whole thing. Nobody even asked her a question. Didn't really seem like we might be able to get much out of her, but that was kind of tough to see. It's always tough to see like the kind of losing end. You see the spectrum of one team going crazy over here and the other one just devastated. So, but that's Class 2A. Like I said, that's North Cato and Mansfield. They'll play at 4 on Saturday. We're down to 2 classes left. Class 3A is going to be number 1 Alexandria against 2 Madison Prep. I saw a good bit of both of these games. Well, no, Alexandria only caught the fourth quarter. Um, but Madison Prep and Albany, I saw that whole game. Madison Prep Madison Prep was just a little bit. Well, really, Albany's a pretty athletic team too. They're super fast. Like their girls, they get up and they really push the pace. Coach DeRue's, Albany was actually one of my teams when I was with the Daily Star in Hammond, so I was fairly familiar with them. Cameron Woods, she's made a ton of strides, ton of progression. Her shot looks great. I mean, she ended up 3 for 10 from three, but she had a couple more that just barely rimmed out. But she led them in scoring with 20, and Madison Prep had 3 girls in double figures, and Tarnisha Young is a kid I really like. She apparently missed last year with a broken wrist, and Madison Prep is apparently going through a lot of stuff as far as injuries and just losing players this year. So they're only 18 and 13, so they're getting hot at the right time. And Tarnisha, she had 18 with 6 for 11 from the field, 4 assists, 4 steals, and she really handled a lot of the pressure from Albany because they like to, press, try to speed you up. And Bracy Johnson had a good game. They were the 2 girls at the podium. Bracy had 14 points. She was 4 for 9 from three, so her shooting really helped them out. Destiny Ellis was the big girl for Madison Prep, and she had 17 and 15. So really good game from her. And Madison Prep won that one 59 to 46. Albany, they were up probably about 20, I want to say in the second half, and Albany was able to put together a little bit of a push, but a little bit too late. And Northwest and Laranja, the other semifinal game, another of one of the really good games of the tournament. Laranja squeaked past them 43 to 42. My young Mississippi State signee was incredible. I wasn't covering that games, but she had to have 11, 12 points in the fourth quarter, 2 or 3 steals, and she really just carried them to the win down the stretch. I mean, she was coming down with the ball. Sometimes she wouldn't even pass it and just wouldn't pick her way through the defense until she got the shot she wanted. And, she hit a big 3 early in the quarter, and she was everything you would expect from a Mississippi State signee. So she'll be in the championship going for her second straight, and which is great to see because I think I mentioned this on the last one, but she tore her ACL and right before the start of the playoffs her junior year, and then her freshman year in the second round, I want to say they were up by like 20 and then lost by 1. So really glad to see her back. And that game will start at 6 on Saturday. Madison Prep and Laranja. That's the 1 and 2. And then the last game is Captain Shreve and Denham Springs. This is Class 5A. I didn't really see much of Captain Shreve and East Ascension, but Captain Shreve won 65 to 48. They looks like I think they're the lowest seed that I've run across in the championship. Look like these might be the 2 lowest seeds. Captain Shreve is the 9 and Denham Springs is 6. So and as far as Denham Springs on the other side of the bracket, this was rough. I caught most of the second half. Like I said, I was finishing up writing a couple other stories, but when I got there, it was it was a close game. No, I got there midway through the second quarter, and it was a close game then. Tiara hit a couple shots pretty much right as I got in there. She had 15 or 16 in the first half, and this one was pretty much looked like it was about to come down to the wire. It was the third quarter was real low scoring. Yeah, Denham Springs had 6 and Walker only scored 3, but like I said, it was a close game. And early in the fourth, I think Tiara just hit a couple free throws maybe or something like that, but they were Denham Springs was going down court. And there was somebody, one of the girls for Walker kind of took the pass away, and Denham Springs was able to recover it. They threw it up court, and Tiara tried to cut off somebody on the sideline, and they called a foul, which I think that was probably the right call. She bumped her a little bit, kind of got off the spot. And, referee blows a whistle, starts walking away, is, giving the signal for whichever player foul, and Tiara goes off in the other direction, and she turns around and she throws her hands up because she knows that's her fourth foul, and it's pretty early in the fourth quarter, and as she turns around and kind of she first makes a move, whatever she did, the ref says she quote threw her hands up, whatever, and or whatever. Okay, so not the ref that actually called the foul, but another ref from Down this way, he comes sprinting in from almost the baseline from around half court. And when she does the throw her hands up or whatever, he hits her with a tech. And that's number 5. So throws her out of the game. That's essentially, what that does. And she was crushed. And I was crushed seeing it, honestly. I mean, that was one of the probably the toughest thing I've seen, at a tournament of girl from Red River, Hallman, probably coming in second, which, I mean, soon as Tiara realizes, like, okay, I'm out, like, it's done. Like, she just starts bawling pretty much right there on the sideline. Her mom, Miyoka, comes over, tries to, give her some encouragement, and I guess, try to say it's all right. But I mean, she knows. I mean, we pretty much all knew at that point. I mean, even Alexius Horn for Denham Springs in the press conference afterwards, I asked her, what did you kind of think whenever you saw Tiara go out? And she was like, I knew we won. So, and it was a close game. Walker was up 31 to 29. There was 6:22 left in the game. So, I mean, it was very much in the balance. And to end the kid's season like that is rough. And I'm not one that goes after refs at all. I used to ref actually, so if anything, I defend refs more than I criticize. And while I'm on that, y'all really need to stop with this hollering and fussing at refs and doing all this and that. First off, you're usually not right. They're usually in a good spot, and first, they are not cheating. They are not cheating. Their checks are the same no matter who wins. They don't care. I promise you, they don't care who wins. Um, they may be bad. They may make bad calls because we certainly have refs that are not that great. And you know how you can get refs that are better? Stop yelling at the ones you have because they don't need to suffer that abuse. Most of them, this is a second job. They don't have to do it. A lot of the refs, like I can speak to the ones in my area, like they love the game. They love the game. They love the kids. They want to get stuff right. They're hitting me up. Hey, are you gonna post this game so I can see, this call or that call? Or sometimes they even ask me like, hey, what'd you see on this one? Did you think she, what? Like they want to get the calls right. So y'all really need to lay off of them because half the time y'all yelling from the stands and you don't know what you're talking about. Just the other day at one of these games, somebody's talking. She's in the restricted area. She's in the restricted area. There is no restricted area in high school. You don't know what you're talking about. So stop. But anyway, that's my side diatribe. And but again, back to Young. That was, like I said, one of the toughest things I've ever seen. And she really, really handled it well. I mean, she came in the press conference and she sucked it up. She didn't, wasn't a whole lot of tears, but you could tell it was still, bothering her. She answered questions, um, and she took that one on the chin. I was really impressed with just the young lady she is, and I think she's gonna do great things at LSU. So can't wait to kind of watch her and see what she does. She finished with 19 points, and I have that video up where you can see the whole spiel from a couple of her buckets early on to when she got hit with the tag to just her on the bench watching the rest of the game as Denham Springs is pulling away. Like I said, they were up 31 to 29. They end up losing 48 to 33. So you can see the difference that she makes for that team just in that final score. Um, I want to kind of try to touch. So like I said, that's pretty much it for the girls. I just ran through all 12 brackets. Um, the Captain Shreve in the spring, I honestly don't really have much of a pick for that one. I didn't really see much of Captain Shreve at all, so I'm not really sure what they'll be looking at. LaRondra and Madison Prep, I would go I think Madison Prep is a little bit. I think the top three is better than LaRondras. LaRondras a really thin team. They only played 5 girls in the semifinals. Um, but I mean, it's really hard to pick against Maya. She's definitely going to be the best player in that game, and I'm gonna lean LaRondra. I'm gonna lean LaRondra. For 2A, I really didn't see much of Mansfield, but I think North Cato is gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Obviously, like I said, Destiny Rice, one of the top 2 or 3 players in the state. I can't really see her going down. Curtis, like I said, that's an easy. I mean, I think they're gonna take that one fairly easy. St. Thomas Aquinas, like I said, I picked them. Easton over Benton. I got to go with the home squad there. Plus, I didn't see a whole lot of Benton, but I know Ellender's a really good team, so I expect this to be a good game. Um, let's see, anyone else in here? Yeah, all the rest of these are pretty much done. So I'll move on to the boys real quick. Um, obviously, I've been up here in Alexandria, so I haven't been to any of these games. I'm really looking at the brackets for the first time, so y'all will kind of get a get kind of a live reaction. I see Thibodeau over Harvard. That looked like a great game. That's the one in 17. I saw little bit of buzz about that one, so it looked like it kind of lived up to the hype there. But Thibodeau played Natchitoches. Ponchatoula played Bonneville. That's an interesting game. I think I saw LSU commit T.J. Finley, quarterback commit for football. I think I saw him dunking on the break. He like 6'5", so I bet he can dunk. Bonneville and West Jeff looked like that's probably the game I would have went to had I still been in the city. Bonneville won 57-53, and they had to do that on the road too. So one of the more surprising scores, Walker just slaughtered Slidell. I thought Slidell could at least give him a run. I mean, like I said, they a lot deeper than Walker, but again, Jalen Cook, I think I saw somewhere he had 38, 39, something like that. So he's just gonna be a problem to try to eliminate. I mean, you really can't stop him. You really can't stop him. So they'll play Landry Walker. That's gonna be a rematch of last year's Class 5A championship, and I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to go Walker, bro. Like Landry's definitely a deeper team. They struggled a little bit against New Iberia. It was 38-36, and sometimes they do kind of struggle to score a little bit. And I just kind of got to ride with Jalen Cook in that one. To be honest, like that's really what that's coming down to. I will say that matchup with him and DeWine Griffin is going to be a battle because DeWine is one of the top competitors in this state. Period, regardless of the sport, regardless of class. Like I know he can't wait for that matchup, and if he sees this, he probably gonna let me hear about it. But Dutchtown and Washington Parish is the last quarterfinal matchup in that bracket. Moving on to 4A, we got Bossier. Oh, and while I'm looking at Bossier, apologies to Jacoby Decker because when I talked about them last time, I mentioned Dante Bell and Xavier Beasley, but Jacoby Decker is a straight baller. Like he probably like 5'7", 5'6", 5'8", whatever. But like this dude get buckets. Like I seen just kind of some highlight tapes of him, and shout out to Fast Break. And I've seen him too, just at in prep hoops camps and stuff like that. And he nice with it. So let's see. Ooh, wow, we got an upset in here. Livonia over Woodlawn Shreveport. Woodlawn Shreve has Tremichael Moton, a couple other kids. Tremichael was a senior too, so I probably took that one hard. But yeah, so that's they'll play Karen Crow, who's the defending champ, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure they are. Karen Crow's a 5 seed. Bossier play Franklin Parish. Brobridge and Westgate. Westgate was in the semis last year. Westgate's the 6 though, and Brobridge is the 3. Brobridge might have been there too. I'm not sure though. I can't remember. Plaquemine and Leesville. Plaquemine's a 7. Leesville's a 2. On the Class 3A. Shout out to the homies at Sophie B. Wright. Looks like they dominated Washington Marion. It was 85-50. I'm telling you, bro, like these dudes are not playing. They're not playing. That's my pick in 3A. The next matchup is gonna be a battle. So and that's gonna be in the semis, so I'll be there for that one. I'm easily going with Madison Prep over Abbeville. I know nothing about Abbeville, but I know about Madison Prep, and I'm gonna be dead shocked if they don't win that game. Walsman is the 3. They'll play Lake Charles. College Prep, who's the 6. And Peabody is the 2. They'll play St. James, who upset Glen Oaks. St. James is the 26 seed, so they got 2 upsets. They beat the 7 Donaldsonville 54-51 in the first round, and then beat, like I said, Glen Oaks 44-36. So Guess Peabody's got a Cinderella story on his hands, but they are at home. Let's see. 2A, we got Rayville as the top. I just saw the Rayville score. The Rayville second round score is they put up 122, fam. 122. And and he scored 128 in the first round. So that lets you know how they coming right there. Um, like I said, I don't see anybody beating them. Really in this bracket. Well, Red River. Ooh, that's gonna be a game. Yeah, Rayville and Red River. Matter of fact, that was the championship game last year, so I'm expecting to see the same thing. Red River plays Port Allen. They're the 7 seed. Shout out to Meat in here. They are the 19 seed, still alive. They beat number 14 Vinton 63-55 in the first round, and then they beat Avoyes. I don't know how you say it. Public Charter. They beat them 58-47, and they were the 3 seed. So Amita play Lake Arthur. That's the 6 seed. The other quarterfinal matchup is Lakeview and Ville Platte. Ville Platte's the 4, Lakeview's the 5. Class 1A, we got White Castle and Kip Booker T. Washington. Shout out to the homies. Kip beat Grand Lake 50-45. Let's see. Lincoln. Ooh, yeah, this was a game. Saw a little few highlights from this one. Delhi and Lincoln Prep. I'm really Delhi beat. I think Delhi went on a game when I want to say 60-59, and really disappointed to see Lincoln not make it because they've got Chance Robinson, and I have yet to see him in person. He's I know I've said Jalen Cook, the top kid in the state regardless of class, but Chance is pretty close from just the highlights I see in some of his just national accolades. So Jonesboro Hodge is the 3. They'll play East Iberville. Jonesboro Hodge has a straight baller with LaDamian Bradford. This kid like 6'3", 6'4", long, athletic, gets to the rim like damn near at will. So I would expect them to keep advancing. East Iberville did upset Tensas 73-60, but again, I got Jonesboro in that one. North Central and Logansport is the 2-7. That's the last quarterfinal game. And so yeah, Delhi was actually a quarterfinal game too, and so they're already in the semis. Whoever wins out of White Castle and Kip, BTW will play them. Class B, I usually don't have a whole lot of analysis on these teams. I'm not real familiar with them, but Zwol is the 1 seed. They'll play Hathaway, who's the 9. Weston is the 4. Doorline is the 5. And Doorline just barely beat Quitman, 77-76 in the second round. Hicks is the 3. They'll play Clark Leadership Academy, who's number 6, not to be confused with Clark in New Orleans. That is a different one. And the last quarterfinal matchup is Simsboro against Pitkin. That's the 2. Simsboro's the 2. Pitkin's the 7. Class C, Summerfield is the top seed here. I saw a little bit of them last year, and I think I've seen some highlights here and there. They look like they legit. So I don't think they're gonna have much trouble getting to the title game. Phoenix is 5. Atlanta is 4. Pleasant Hill is 3. Saline, I guess is how you pronounce that, is 6. Simpson is 2, and Singer is 7. So that's Class C. Division 1, which should be pretty interesting. Scotlandville is the top seed. They're going to play Curtis. And these quarterfinal games mostly happen tonight. So by the time y'all see this podcast, which is why I was kind of hesitant to do it, because it's going to be a little outdated because y'all kind of know the finals. But, that is what it is. I may or may not. I'll probably do something leading up to the boys' championships where I recap the championships from the girls, but, we'll see. Jesuit is the 4. They'll play Catholic BR, who's the 5. That'll be a rematch from earlier this season. And Jesuit actually won that game, and I think it might be tough taking out Catholic BR twice. So that should be a really good game. I think Scotlandville won't have much trouble with Curtis. Holy Cross and Brother Martin is the 3-6. Holy Cross is the 3. Brother Martin's been kind of coming on lately. They did beat Jesuit in the last regular season game of the season, but hard to pick against Holy Cross, assuming they don't get off to one of their famously slow starts. Uh, so I would have to lean Tigers there. And the last quarterfinal matchup is number 2 St. Aug against 10 Shaw. Number 10 Shaw. And Shaw actually pulled off an upset, a little bit of an upset in the first round. They beat number 7 St. Paul's 47-44 on the road. So that's a pretty good win for them. I know they're a young team, got a few kids that are on the come up. So they'll be pretty good in a few years. It looks like. Division 2, we got U High as the 1 seed. They play Lee Magnet, whose girls just won the championship. And at number 4, St. Thomas More against 5, David Thibodeau. We got De La Salle and Lusher. That's the 3-6. De La Salle's the 3. That should be interesting. St. Louis is 10 and Parkview Baptist is 15. Parkview Baptist beat the number 2 seed Loyola Prep 46-43. So Division 3, Dunham is the top seed here. Um, I don't really see them having a whole lot of trouble making it to the championship. They should roll against Catholic NI, who they'll play tonight. Um, I mean, they'll have either Riverside or Holy Seven Menard, which is right down the street from Rapides Parish, the Coliseum. So I've passed them a good bit while I've been up here. They have to travel to Riverside, and like I mentioned last week, Riverside's been playing pretty well lately. They put up 101 on Church Academy, so that's pretty good. Episcopal is the 3. They'll play Calvary Baptist, and Country Day is the 2. They'll play Newman. They shouldn't have a whole lot of trouble there. Javon Ruffino is probably the top freshman in the state, or at least in our area. Or actually, he's a sophomore now. But class of 2021, him, Amari McDonald at Red River. Who else? Maybe Carlos Stewart at Dunham is maybe in that mix. But I would say those two. And Jamon Vincent at Landry Walker, he's in the running a little bit. But I would probably go Javon just because of his size, but Amari's shooting is insane. Like, it's insane. He will pull up from 5, 6 feet behind the line and make it. His handle is nice, but I think they're the top 2 for sure. Um, but Country Day, they got a pretty deep team. They just got Ross Talbot back, who broke his foot playing football, and so hopefully he can kind of give him a boost a little bit, play a few minutes here and there, just give him some solid minutes. Let's see. Division 4, we've got Lafayette Christian and Ascension Catholic. That's the 1-9. Opelousas Catholic is 4. St. Mary's is 5. Hamilton Christian is the 3. They play Vermilion Catholic, who's the 6. And Central Catholic is the 2. They play Southern Lab, who is the 10. I just had to check and make sure I was recording. I would have been messed up if I was doing all this and not recording. Division 5 should be pretty interesting. Jehovah Jireh, I assume they will walk to the championship. They play number 9, New Living Word. Family Christian is 5. They play Northside Christian is 4. Runnels already beat Episcopal of Acadiana in their quarterfinal game, so they're in the semifinals. And Crescent City rolled against Family Christian, who was the 7. Crescent City won that 71-35 in the quarterfinals, so they'll play Runnels, who is a district opponent, and I think they beat them twice this season, if I'm not mistaken. I know they beat them at least once. I think they won by like 13 or 14. So I'm certainly expecting to see a Jehovah Jireh and Crescent City in the championship again. That'll be a rematch from last year. So that's pretty much gonna do it for this one. like I said, I'll be heading to Benton and Easton soon, and I'm thinking about kind of getting into this Antonio Brown stuff a little bit because they done put out these reports talking about he looking at the Saints and like somebody else and like please stay far away. I don't want anything to do with this dude. He is a clown. I don't know what's going on with this blind mustache he doing. Like whatever, that's on you. That's your world. But I saw the little snippet of the shop he talking about, oh, I'm just a 6th round pick that worked my ass off. I mean, you did. That's facts. You did, and there's definitely something to be said for that. He's become one of the best receivers, really, of all time. But I just don't have patience for the antics. One of the things that made the Saints was their chemistry. So I don't need this clown coming in here and messing that up because he's not getting enough targets or we throwing the mic too much. Like, nah, I'm so good on Antonio Brown. I don't want nothing to do with this dude. Please, please stay far away from New Orleans. I'm begging you. I don't want to see it. Um, we still got the Anthony Davis saga kind of going on. It's getting really weird. Uh, Again, I still wish just go away, just go away. Like we playing him these weird minutes where he's like coming in. He was killing the Lakers, and then we sit him for the last 4 or 5 minutes or whatever. And if the league's not threatening to fine us, I don't know why we're still doing this. I assume that that's the reason that they haven't just pulled the plug completely because the league was threatening fines at one point and then it came out that they weren't threatening to fine them and then I don't know. I don't know. But it's a bad look really for everybody. And again, it would just be better if he goes away. They play so much better when he's not on the court because it's got to be super awkward to have to play with a dude that doesn't want to play with you. So, I don't think Anthony understood what he was getting himself into by making that trade request public. Uh, it's I don't know, like the tweet I had, like he's almost playing. It really looks like you just a clutch puppet right now, dog. I don't know if you know, but that's what it looks like. And when you come out and you say stuff like you did at the All Star break about, well, all 29 teams are on my list, like that don't even make sense, bro. Like how can they all be on your list? So you don't care where you go? I thought you wanted to win, but how they all on your list then? Um, Nothing he really says adds up. I don't get it, but that is what it is. Saints let Kirk Coleman go. I think there's not too much news on that front. We got the NFL Combine that some of that started today. I hadn't really paid too much attention to it, but and the Sloan Conference for the NBA was popping. I think that was today too. But anyway, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up here. Like I said, I got to get out of here soon. So appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll have another one of these fairly soon, probably next week. So appreciate y'all. Holla.